they're still working hard. They gotta shoot each other. I mean, they have done 4 game days. They've done a couple of 3 game days, and they've had the uncertainty of maybe having to come back tomorrow. No, we appreciate them. We appreciate what Bryce Robinson and Will Black and Jacob Lutz have done back in the production suite this week. Those are the guys that you don't see, but they help you see. And I guess you only see them when they're catching foul balls in the suite. But outside of that, a lot of long hours running cables and, putting together pre-produced packages. It's much appreciated, I know, from us and from our fans, too.
Connor Polly's leading off with a 2-0 count. He has a single back in the first tonight. 8-run lead for Jacksonville State as they inch closer and closer to claiming another tournament title. Morehead State trying to work their way back in this one. 1 run in the fourth, 1 run last inning.
And Graham, just a couple of people that also deserve a big hand from us as well that worked games throughout the weekend. Kenny Minor, Sean Bonds, Greg Camelone, John Weaver, who's in charge of the Miners video.
Fly ball, left side, and Alexander camps underneath it. He has it, and Polly is retired.
Well, how about, Kyle Schwartz, too. He's in charge of, getting together all the information that allows us to sound like we know what we're talking about with the conference offices. So many people to thank for, what's been a really great week here. And what's a couple outs away from culminating in a Jacksonville championship.
First time this event has ever been held in this ballpark. It's been a very successful week. Here's Trevor Snyder with 1 out and the bases empty. Snyder's 1 for 3 with a single. Scored the first run of the game tonight for Morehead State in the fourth.
I would say it played pretty well, wouldn't you? Just, fair travel for everybody.
I think that was the biggest thing. Oxford, Alabama, Choccolocco Park, they do a great job hosting it. But number one, it's kind of far away for most of the teams in the league. This ball is smoked up the middle. Trevor Snyder with a 1-out single. So he reaches for the second time tonight with John Burghardt stepping in. But the other thing about Oxford, Alabama, it's basically a home series for Jacksonville State, which is 20 minutes down the road.
Yep. Well, they've had to travel further, but quality of play has still been the same for Jacksonville State. But the other thing is that the feedback from each of the head coaches that has been here, I really haven't heard secondhand or firsthand when you talk to the guys that they've had really any issues at all with lodging, the facility itself. And you got to think that 7 of the 8 teams that come here, you're talking to them after their season is coming to a close. I think they would tell you if they had some complaints, and it's been really, really positive.
I think the biggest thing, everybody just wants to make it feel like a big event. 8 teams come. This is the 41st OVC Baseball Championship. As we said, first time ever here. 18th time on a neutral site location. Burghardt with a 1-1 count. Nice block by Alex Webb.
When they lay down the new turf next year, you think they'll put a little OVC emblem down somewhere?
Probably should.
Banking on the extension of the contract beyond 2020.
Got to plant that seed. Here's the 2-1 to Burghardt. Swings and misses at an elevated fastball.
Yeah, the Southern Illinois Miners people were very proud to show this off. Jason Garrett, who's the voice of the Miners. Team's on the road right now, of course. But he's tuned in. He's caught a couple of broadcasts and talked about how cool it was to see this beautiful ballpark showcased on a regional stage like this. So good for both sides.
This is a ballpark that was built in 2007. And they set league records as far as single season total attendance and then single game attendance. Miners have had a great deal of success over the years in the Frontier League. Here's the payoff pitch. Foul back. We'll try it again on John Burkhart.
And lots of Kids Day games. I know your time in the minor leagues, you never forget those.
Yeah, very, very well said. You never forget those.
7,000 screaming school children at 11 in the morning, screaming for pop-ups behind home plate. Sometimes those things are the most exciting part.
Doesn't matter where the ball's hit in play. Those kids love it.
Oh, it's got a chance to be a home run for those kids.
Inside, ball 4. First walk in the night from a Jacksonville State pitcher. That puts 2 runners on base now for Morehead State. This will bring up Dom Peroni. This has been a storyline tonight for Morehead State. Just 1 for 6 as a team with runners in scoring position. They have the chance here. There is 1 out. Peroni is 1 for 3. He's got a single and an RBI ground out. One and one on Peroni. Touch on Jim Case earlier and his relationship over the years with Mississippi State. Jim Case this season got the stadium named in his honor. And in order to break in the new stadium, they played Mississippi State back in the fall. First year you can do that, college baseball. You can play another team that won't count against your record in the regular season in the fall. So it was a sold-out ballpark at Jacksonville State as they welcomed Mississippi State. This is a program, they've been through a lot. It's a little over a year ago where the town and campus got hit with a tornado, and it really impacted campus and especially the baseball facility. Had all the equipment in a 18-wheeler truck that got wiped out, and all the equipment all over the highway. It's 3-1 now on Dom Peroni. This will bring Alex Webb out to the mound. But if Jacksonville State is able to hold on and win their first championship in 5 years, just think of everything that they've been through over the past year and a half or so. What that would mean not only to the program, but the university and the community as a whole.
Yeah, maybe a chance to go to a regional down south, chance for their fans to travel with them. Just like the football program has put them on a national stage the last couple of years with their long winning streak.
Outside, ball 4. And for the first time tonight, Morehead State has the bases loaded. After the back-to-back walks. This inning got off to a promising start for Edwards. He got a pop out on the infield, then gave up the single, then 2 consecutive walks. And Jacksonville State will indeed make a pitching change. So we'll have our 3rd different pitcher of the night coming up for the Gamecocks, who take a 10-2 lead over Morehead State. But the Eagles making some noise with the bases loaded. So 1 out, bases are loaded for Ryan Lane. He's 4 for 14 on the season with the bases loaded. Lane tonight 1 for 3 with a single and run scored. He struck out twice. He's got Snyder on third. He singled. Burghardt on second, Peroni on first after they both walked. High, deep, right field. Adams is on the run, and Adams makes the catch. And tagging from third is Trevor Snyder. He will score easily on the sac fly from Ryan Lane. Jacksonville State 10, Morehead State 3 after the sac fly from Lane.
Well, this gave you pause for a second. Didn't barrel it quite enough. Got just a little too out in front of it on a pitch that was up in the zone. And a good-looking slice there from Lane, but it just dies in that corner.
And this will bring up the number 9 batter in the lineup, Hunter Fain. He's 0 for 3.
Coming into this tournament, Corley Woods had only worked back-to-back days once. That was at Southeast Missouri the 6th and 7th of April. So this is the first time that he's worked 3 days in a row in his career.
And it comes on Championship Saturday.
Yes.
Did a nice job to get the first out with the bases loaded.
You know, the zip on his fastball is a little bit down. You'd expect that working 3 days in a row. 83 on that last one. But that'll work at 75.
Fain just fights it off. Remains 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's amazing what the changeup and breaking stuff can do despite not having a huge range in the velocity between the fastball and the other stuff. Sometimes just a 6 mile an hour difference, but it's just enough to change the bat speed.
I feel like that's also a term lately that's picked up in baseball, really at all levels. Exit velocity ball coming off the bat. It's one thing Parker Phillips said he learned playing in the Cape Cod League of Austin Peay. He said it's kind of information overload, and you just have to pick and choose what you want to pay attention to that can help you in your approach at the plate. Lifted in the air, foul territory. Stratton will give it a chase and run out of room.
Yeah, some guys use it. Some guys use it to coaches or executives. It's there because it's helpful in some capacities, but the bottom line is guys that have gotten to the Cape Cod League or have gotten to Division I baseball, there's a pretty high chance that what you've done the rest of your life works pretty well. It's just a minor tweak here or there.
Right.
Whether it's, how somebody's pitching you differently, if they've exposed a weakness, widening up your base a little bit, changing where you load with your hands.
High and deep, right center field. Kirkland is on the move, and Kirkland makes a sliding effort and comes up with it. Unbelievable grab by Trey Kirkland. And that will end the Morehead State threat. as Jacksonville State will take a 7-run lead as Morehead State does plate 1 run on 1 hit, but they leave 2 runners on base.